Welcome to our lovely, authentic future humans. So, if you are new, you don't know our future humans are here because 4D, 3D don't know that we're already existing. And if you are regular, being yourself, it's great, isn't it? The smart way. So, the smart way means that you know this and that are true. You own the innocence of your adolescence, of your child parts, and so you're loyal to who you are. You know how to be generous of spirit. This is why being yourself gives you access to the most powerful of manifestation techniques. Going with the flow. It's you in the prefrontal cortex to now, and you honor all of that, which is an integrated brain and your child parts. So, for example, when I work with the emotion of anger, as you heard, I've done a recent couple of activities there, including that which is theatrics, but we got to do emotion. So like the paid content that we have, which is with the Spotify podcast, the link is below, or if you're hearing me, the link is on the main page of IHP's podcast, if you're on Spotify or whatever platform you're listening to. So we walk through that which is an activity of contemplation so that you can just process that which comes up as images or sensations with anger. In the case of the group activity that I got to do, I actually got stumped, if you will. I was like, wow, Maria's frozen when they're saying to yell no and get angry. Okay, so that's like, that's so sweet for those of us who are in the flow state. To actually be able to then go with a group again and continue to look at those child parts and at what comes up. So this is the honor that one has when you're doing spiritual personal growth, by the way. So why being yourself gives you access to this most powerful manifestation technique of the flow state? Because selflessness, timelessness, effortlessness, and richness. You don't get overwhelmed because you navigate your nervous system. Okay, so this is the good resilience. IHP is about inspiring human potential. Self-led people, we know that every one of our brothers and sisters, they're little angels like we are. And that Jesus taught us really well. And even though I make fun of Buddha, he gives us the ventral vagal portfolio, toning exercises, and the meditation and mindfulness that support further integration. However, what is really going to have you completely do Resh is when you know how to be your own Shiva Shakti, your own masculine feminine. So you have open-ended inquiry as you contemplate and feel. And this is the part of where you don't do shadow work on a screen or any of that. Okay, so when you're hearing the very self-righteous, contemptuous 4D, 3D, they basically lead with low self-esteem, revenge. They will be the ones who will say how they're genuine and authentic, but really you'll notice that they just want someone to take their side. We talked about that. We're going to keep talking about that again later. So while some people, like myself, want authentic people, we know many really just want someone to get comfortable with so that they can have pats on the back because they don't like the truth. The truth of the innocent child is one that does not bring forth that which is true in a way of being spiteful. The only ones who are confused with the timbre of any voice are the same ones who need someone like Patrick Tian to heal their childhood trauma stuff, or Dr. Daniel Fox to heal that which would be potential borderline personality or narcissism personality. So all people are healable, and that's why we honor also Dr. Daniel Siegel. I know I do. Okay, so being yourself means that you own the sense of self. And this is what gives you the access to this powerful manifestation technique, because otherwise you're not going to be capable of sitting through the selflessness, timeless, effortlessness. Your body's like, where the fuck are you? And as a downloader, channeler, and a person who has complete with Akashic record readings, tarot, with also Reiki sessions, I've seen more things. It's amazing. It's amazing to bring it to you. We're going to have some mystic stories in a minute, but the flow state is one that moves then into richness. And so as your body settles back into, because Dr. Daniel Siegel explained to me how integration of the brain works, those emergent properties, and that would be where everything forms from within us with that personality pattern, your temperament, okay, and you have secure attachment. So attachment science at the foundation shows why some people will take some time first and then they become who they're meant to be and they regain their innocence. And so we're all 3-year-olds here at IHP land. That's why we're functional child adults. So you have fun being yourself, number one. So like when I was stumped with this anger thing, I'm like, I'm going to do this with our group when we get together for the paid subscribers because we're working through emotions. So all the emotions, you're able to have healthy anger. And that's why you don't bring in contempt or self-righteousness. When we do meet the adaptive child part person, we know that they're a child who is not securely attached, and they're going to be basically closed off. They're carrying the baton, so they're treating others the way they were treated, which means that they were treated with shame, blame, fault, revenge from their own household. So they have the 0 to 8-year-old manners of a person who comes from a dysregulated household. That's why Pinocchio's Island, it's not going to be something I abandon. I hang out with my circus friends all the time. I'm not going to copy them because I'm a 0, 8, 9, 10. I'm a Maria who's like, yeah, I'm growing older. And the innocent children who love me let me know how much they really want me to grow old with them. And because even I, as a child, still remember, and I am someone who smoked cigarettes. I still smoke cigars, just so you know, but that's my compromise. It's like, okay, you can do some things, but that's only because you're going to do it moderately. And it's very easy for me. But I remember when I was a kid, my twin and I told our mother, don't smoke. And my mother's not a smoker at all. She just smoked a very little bit. But I remember getting the same type of interaction with my younger sister. And she loves me. She's the younger sister. She's always going to see me as her sister, right? And that's the part family will want to cherish every single day that we can together, which is why we're always going to support our health, not our bad health, our good health. The body connected and the brain integrated. That's the first step, as this lovely lady points out. And anybody who ignores that, doesn't matter what diet, they can completely do nothing and live it. The most cleanest lifestyle ever. It won't matter because their body is not tended to. So you first get the body into that which is a connected ventral vagal state, and that's why all your child parts, all of that stuff is something a person will work with. And once you achieve that sense of security, it's a securely non-traumatized person, because now you can work with the thoughts and the emotions. And that's why you say, oh, look, my anger came up in a really weird, fascinating way. That's the solid foundation, or the foundation with cracks that we put gold in for the ones who got out of hell because they had a unfortunate beginning to their journey. Only those who have lost the need for security are truly secure. Thank you, Sadhguru. So integrated brain people, that's why we conquered fear with Resh, and we have good fear. That's why we know what Jesus meant with, you don't have fear of God in a way of he's going to eat you. No, not any of that which is from our spirituality kingdom will eat anyone. And the grown-ups who are a bad example of grown-ups who don't like that we use all the words, we have nothing to say to cognitive dissonance, structurally dissociated, broken human beings who are very bad examples of human beings. They lead with that which is called lack of emotional intelligence, so they have no soft skills, which makes them bad at what they're doing. Furthermore, they have that thing called a gut with grandiosity. Thanks, Terrio. Grandiosity means that they're completely insecure, which is also why a child will stay far, far, far away from them. Because while I have a whole child inside of me, they don't. And anytime I might even want to remotely go near them, that's not something that is going to look good inside of them, not me. I'm going to be fine. I don't know what's going to be happening in here, so I'm going to leave it alone because God won't allow me to go near anyone like that. FYI, I'll explain this in a minute. There is nothing else to do here except live. The only choice you have is to live either superficially or profoundly. Thank you, Sadhguru. When you are ventral vagal state, so anchored in ventral energy, means that you have an individual who is in the flow state. That's why it's the most powerful manifestation technique. You got eustress, you're at a high frequency, you get angry, you cry, you get afraid, panic attacks, anything, and you're not destabilized. So as you're standing with this very calm and centered look in front of someone who, on the other hand, inside is cringing with fear and disdain, whatever it is, I don't know because I don't have it. What I can tell you is Bethany Brown and Ruth Langes have informed me in my courses what happens when an empowered human being looks in the eyes of a person who instead has a bunch of trauma charges going on still alive inside them. And I have a very, very good friend of mine. Her and I, if you ever saw us together, and this woman, I mean, the moment I laid eyes on her, I was like, I am not into women, but oh my gosh, if I were, you would be it. Somehow you and I would be an item, but we are not, because I am not interested. And this is like I don't even know what words to describe, because all I can tell you is I love this woman. I love a lot of people though. Remember, that means that I love because Love is easy for those of us who consistently know what love is. Hold on a minute. Don't think it has nothing to do with the physical stuff. That's not love. That's physical. And really, it's only physically beautiful when you're loving, not when you are. I'm going to pause myself before I continue that sentence, because trauma is normally associated with unsuccessful attempts to get away. When we can't get away, we can't use fight flight. We resort to our most primitive neural circuit, and that functionally is a shutdown circuit. Stephen Porges. So trauma changes how people can hear, speak, and even see the world. That's why attachment science is important. But when you engage the ventral vagal system, that's when healing can begin from the inside out. But that's why the people need to be with a good somatic therapist who does EMDR, child parts work, and all that. So here at IHP, again, we have fun doing personal spiritual growth because we're actually growing. We have access to spirit, our soul, because we have access to our higher self. You have access to your higher self because you have good resilience. So that's why you love all people. And it's not about promiscuity or any of that, which is in, by the way, a low frequency. I'm about to tell you stories. So when you meet, I was an adolescent, and I have plenty of stories for you about the lack of capacity for adolescents to know what being intimate would mean. Okay, the ones who, though, have stories like my friend, it's explained, if you lose your innocence by the time you're 3, 4, 5, 6, I can't hold it against you that you have unfortunately created tarot cards to fuck each other, or that I go to college and meet people who are lonely, fucking each other, and continue to be lonely. It has nothing to do with the sex revolution. Nope, it has everything to do with people lacking to go regain the innocence of their inner child, which is the first 3 years of their life. So with that being said, I don't actually think, oh, you're disgusting. No. I think there's great scientists out there who can help anybody who wants to heal. If they want to, they'll go and they'll honor themselves. And then once they're done, they're going to continue doing that which is called emotional, mental, physical intelligence development, because they're going to want to keep mastering those planes. Why not? You're being yourself authentically. You see, the most powerful manifestation technique, it's the flow state. It's not wine, and you don't have to do yoga. It's mental, emotional activity from within you with a whole self that you own. Use your human name. Awesome. That's how I inspire human potential. I don't motivate you. You're motivated to be yourself. You believe in yourself. I can't make you love yourself first. I can only tell you that your origins were never meant to be broken, and that if in the womb you did begin to have implicit memory, that's something else important. So love is not about somebody. Love is not an act. Love is the way you are. For the people who have self-empowered, securely attached, non-traumatized child parts. So anger comes up healthy, fear comes up healthy, sadness comes up healthy. I don't project it, and I don't call humanity broken, and I don't think that God or feminine anything needs to punish. I don't go around being like an angry big monster that says, I think all humans need to be wiped out. No, not at all. All humans are saved. The reality is all humans have the kingdom of God within them, as Jesus pointed out, and as Sadhguru points out, they have the seed of enlightenment. But you will not be nourishing shit if you have a body that is like this. However, you will be manifesting, oh yes, a lot of blah, 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 blah. I'm going to notice who you are, because this is what happens when you have a luminous warrior, meaning a securely attached, healthy, self-worth person in front of you. I don't fall for adaptive child part bullshit because it's petty. And it's also going to be obvious because I'm not going to be having fun with you. So back to my fun story, and so that you can hear why a self-agent doesn't cut people out of their lives. We got more people in our lives. As you expand from light body to rainbow body, I'm integrating some of the mystic stuff right now so that we can then do other chit chat in our next episode. So you don't lose yourself if you are yourself authentically, innocently. So this woman, she's beyond bejesus of beautiful, and she definitely, her body, her child parts, all of that have protected her. And unfortunately though, she is like the other people on their Pinocchio island, just as unhelped as possible. But as Stephen Porges points out, people, when mobilized, make up in their head. Like this dude was like, wow, everything you told me, I'm the most healthiest alive, Maria. And I'm like, sure, but the belly, you fell down 3 times with a woman, you almost cracked her skull open. You continue to tell me how you can amazingly not ever sleep, and I think you're a heart attack waiting to happen, and what's going to happen to your daughter. But maybe it's, no, I shouldn't say that, but is she really seeing a good example of what a man can be? or of what a woman? No. So when people are yelling at each other and continuing to point fingers, they're not a good example. When instead you have the innocent, authentic human being with a ventral vagal tone, this is why no one can actually get as upset. The ones who do, they don't want to welcome themselves. So we really don't want to be around mediocre. They're not dangerous. Pathologies, mediocre, unhealthy. They are not of interest to those who are emotionally, mentally, physically healthy, because we know there's one solution for them. It's called healing. There's nothing monstrous about them. So the one thing that a person who has felt, if you will, powerless their entire life and will continue to feel so, will not want to be around that which is truth, because it won't be, oh my God, you're so scary. It will be, and that look is the look that this human being, as he points out, if they look away, my confidence will be eroded. It's because this human being isn't healed, nor is a woman who says that it's dangerous to be, with no emotion. So when people wheel their mouths in ways that excuse their story so that they don't have to go and check in with the good therapist, it's very clear. It's replicable science. It's replicable to the back of my hand, which is why truth, as Thomas Campbell points out, is not fragile. What's sad is these people are our brothers and sisters, and so it's sad. Why? No, it's not because I need to connect with them, because I feel that their inner child is still alive. And I know their innocence was taken and stripped away, like other children whose innocence is being, right now, as we speak, stripped away. Right now. It's all being taken out. And one day, I might meet the eyes of one of these innocent children who are no longer going to be innocent. And if something happens, well, will I really not know who to blame? Oh, I know who to blame, but I'm not God. So I don't do the shame, blame, fault, revenge game, because that's bullshit. I do the human. We're imperfect and flawed. I unconditionally love. So I love all, and I don't play divinity or God. I know exactly what a true grown-up wants for children, that they may be able to safely navigate the plane. It's called safe haven, secure base, with a regulated nervous system. But if they want to stay dysregulated, because that is the only thing that they know is unhealthy fear, which makes them carry on with their self-righteous, contemptuous baton and think that calm doesn't resolve everything. Calm resolves everything. When we are in a choir and they're bountiful of people who have taken it upon themselves to become their most highest performing, beautiful potential, because why would you say no to love? Why would you say no to being the most amazing version of yourself when the flow state makes you brilliant, might I add? Not brilliant in a way of regurgitation. That's not brilliance. No. The consilience approach. We have fun with all the emotions. We have fun with all people. We have fun every single day of our life. There's no suffering inside the brain of a person who's in the flow state. There's, oh, look, I got sad. Oh, come on, Maria. Are you really going to make a big deal out of this? Oh, come on. It's fine. Hey, Buddha, what are you doing under the tree? Come on, let's go walk with Jesus. Let's go to town. Come on, Jesus. Hey, archangels, come on. We're going to town today. Let's go catch some Gargamels, Smurfs, all aboard. Come on, Care Bears, we're heading on in. Love always wins. So this lovely person, as we close on out, this is how our first encounter goes. And it's, again, I lock eyes with her. My friend introduced us. I'm like, oh my God, I love you. Who are you? What's your name? And we're just like chit-chatting, and like it's kind of like Breakfast Club or 4-year-old little girls meeting up, right, to have a like, oh, let's exchange Barbie dolls. So instead it's grown women, by the way. But my point is to give you the kind of excitement that was there, and we didn't know each other. And our first conversation was about the physical stuff, if you will, not between us, but just random different girl talk. And the thing that came out of her mouth was, no, when you go on dates, you need to fuck them first. And I'm like, no, I don't even know if I want to. I'm actually polyamory and gray A. So no. And this is what she says, I think you're trying to protect yourself. You're blocking yourself from love, Maria. And I'm like, no, look, I'm attachment trauma educated. Actually, Stephen Porges informed me of exactly what love is. And another anthropologist also confirmed that it has nothing to do with physically being intimate. Actually, might I just let you know, that is a sign that you're working from the wrong place. Like, your visceral is not really meant to be that. And I know the people who say we're here to produce and all that, and making us sound like, we are part of the yes, biology, animal kingdom, but we have brains. We think, meaning they have brains too, but we have, that human secondary consciousness. So, and I'm adding some stuff to, obviously, this wasn't the entire conversation because I can't remember all of it. But my point is, as she's pointing out, this very, very important notion, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going to change my ways, but hey, you do it your way, I do it my way. And that was really fun to hang out. And then there was one more thing, though, she told me. So while I can drink moderately, and the few times that I've been stupid with it, I will always say, are you stupid? That's what's come out of my mouth. And that's because, again, it doesn't feel good to treat your body like shit. So you are not going to treat yourself like shit if you have the innocence of your inner child and you're grown up, okay? Just trying to help you understand this. You're going to think, why would you make it sound like fraternities and sororities are really cool when they're locking you up in rooms, making you do the most disgusting of things, and you might get STDs, and you still feel lonely, and it seems like you're still teenagers who are looking to pat each other in the back. Hey, adaptive child part people, what are you doing? So those are all insecure people, might I add. We still have movies and songs being made from them, which is why I'm using all these examples, so that we can make sure that our community is built of those who have the innocence of their child and who know how to forgive. Because really, this woman, beautiful, I really wish she would go to a good therapist, but she's not. And so in the meantime, that first encounter, she mentions to me how she began drinking wine at the age of 6 in a cellar, because that's somehow how she ended up there. She never told me all her story. I'm not going to ask because it's none of my business. But her and I consistently have talked over the years about different things, including trauma. So she knows I know, and I know she knows that I respect her choices. And so she knows I can relate to what she's been through. But in the meantime, I'm noticing, as always, the therapist spot on, people on Pinocchio's Island, continuing to reject that which is going to therapy, but instead walking a talk about what? Push-pull. Let me watch my fucking back. Basically going to watch people that do this shit. So when you understand that if you're not going to get out of the insecure stuff, you're going to, like Patrick Chan points out, continue to bring your self-righteous baton with the contempt baton, with the charges baton. I ain't going to pat you in the side. I'm not going to tell you anything either, because I'm not a martyr superior or a victim. So I'm not here to actually meddle with your business. I'm not codependent. Also not here to tell you what to do, because again, God is really good. The only thing he tells me, don't judge your brothers and sisters of human suffering. A waste of your fucking time. It means be appreciative of your brothers and sisters. And I say, yes, God, but they are really wasting time. And he says, is that your business, Maria? What are you doing with your 24 hours? Everything that I want, except for now I'm going to have a nutritionist tell me what to eat. I really don't want her to tell me what to eat. She's going to bug me. I got a rock in my shoe, God. Now he can hear me complain about something stupid. So as you continue to hear the story and have fun with me, this second encounter after I found out about this wine stuff and this other stuff, we continue to catch up every now and then. And finally, there's another encounter where I was all attachment trauma educated and continuing my education, but now I really know how things work. And I had the Bethany Brand and Ruth Langus course, one of the in-depth trauma ones. This one's dissociative disorder, where they explained when you have an integrated brain and you're looking in anyone's eyes immediately, because our right and right connects, which is why I know attachment wounds flare up. So if a person welcomes themselves, that's great. That means that our encounter as a somatic empath, I will have welcomed something. And that's great, half, okay? Here's the truth, because that's where it's great, because I know that they will be feeling that they're welcome. They have not integrated their child parts. They're not on a journey with a therapist. You see what I'm saying? So they're not taking ownership of their maladaptive patterns, the inner critic, outer critic, drinking, drugging, fucking, the dating people who are not good for you. They're not doing any of it. So I don't heal shit. Sure, I make you feel good, maybe, quote unquote, that it doesn't even do anything for you. I mean, so really, yes, I get to, me, Maria, explain to you, I know that in this moment, as her and I are locked in our eyes again, she's like, wow, Maria, you really do something. And I forget exactly how she was explaining it. I just can compare it to when that hot ice that is steaming, right? Okay, but like, let's pretend you got cold, normal ice on your hand, and then it's a warm day, and like that mixture of nice, it's not an uncomfortable heat, ice, whatever, but she's explaining and describing what's coming up. And now I know, thanks to my courses, that this is trauma charges in the making. And I'm like, okay, if you need me to move, I said to her, just tell me, because I'm happy to, leave, go somewhere else. Like, I don't need to be here if you're uncomfortable. It's like, no. And we hugged and we're chit-chatting and we're laughing and we're continuing the conversation. And so she's letting me know it's like totally beautiful what's happening. I, on the other hand, know that it doesn't matter what's happening, because she's going to continue, in fact, to date people that are not good for her, to continue to be not connected with all people, and to basically live the continuation as she is of her life with these child parts unhealed, because she's not in a good therapist doing that work, which is something that can take 10 to 15 years. So it's once you own all of that stuff that's yours, you want to own it, and then you are healing it, that you're going to be here. And you're going to also know, stop judging our brothers and sisters. None of them chose to lose their innocence, like the children who are losing their innocence now. And that doesn't make them monsters, but they have monsters in their heads because they have monsters around them. So it's very easy, intellectually speaking and emotionally speaking, for you to understand that I have a master's degree in international relations and diplomacy. And when I look at the globe, I don't think anything amazing. I already got disappointed way back when I figured out that people throw chairs at each other. Now I'm aware of what attachment wounds are, cognitive dissonance, structural dissociation, and pathologies. So when I'm looking at Waldos out there in the world, I don't need questions. I have answers. God always knows what's happening, though. So in that, with Akash Source Anima Mundi, I can also tell you that the planet is in Dharma, not karma. But those who will choose with their free will to live out their childhood charged stuff, it's their stuff, not ours. And as for the world, it will be fine, because our human species has always evolved. So you look at sociology, you look at science, you look at humanities. If you're an academic, you'll understand how it works. If you're ignorant, that's not my problemo. Ignorance is actually not something I look at, oh my God, I'm so proud of people who are wasting their life away watching stupid bullshit entertainment. No, it's not interesting at all. It's not fascinating. The depth of the beauty of intellect is the fact that you can enrich yourself consistently, because you're also not competing with words. So when people get competitive with words and they get pissy with charges, they just lose focus because they're not clear-minded. I like learning, and then I like sharing. And what I like above all is leaving a example to the kids who are going to motivate themselves to be their best version. I'm not motivating you. I'm telling you what amazing of a journey it is to be yourself. And that's why the flow state. I never understood it from the neuroscience until I did. And now that I do, I still know it doesn't matter what comes out of my mouth. If you don't welcome who you are and the innocence that was meant to be yours, and to understand that humanity, all of our brothers and sisters were meant to be innocent, but the world isn't a 8 billion of ventral vagal states, is it? And as we are already creating those who will be unsafe due to a number of things, we continue to make choices. And that's the part of where free will. So for science, some of them say we have no free will. And if that were even the case, well, then there's no point in me being really, making it a big deal. I already know who's going to be drawn to IHP, as I know who I am. Then I also know what free will choice they will be gifted as they continue to exchange that which is an interaction in my biosphere, our biosphere, Mui. Because as you are interacting with the content, you're going to get a feel. So like my girlfriend, her and I are always like hooked knee and outlet. This is not change. Our relationship only builds stronger, because at the end of the day, she's not someone that needs to be pushed away. So people who become donkeys, they won't be people who come near us, because they will actually want to have support with their maladaptive patterns of behavior. So they are, these are, how can I explain it? When you become a safe haven, secure base for people, it's just kind of like a pawn in their fantasy. If they're not actually keen on keeping a relationship with the other human being, but it's just a pattern of habit, if the minute you take away their puzzle the way they want it, they won't be back to continue playing, because you can't fit their scheme anymore. That's actually a very sad story, by the way, because it's not necessary. But when you use the shame binding, dark side, and neuroplasticity, that's what happens, which is why, as I was saying, God will not bring any of us near other people, and that's because we are also frequency. So the frequency of every one of us will be a put off. That's the part of where it's the pseudoscience lady, but science and consciousness and ones who are talking about it in other ways they have a better way to bring it to you. I'm bringing to you the flow state. It's really fun from the brain. Why being yourself gives you access is because your ventral vagal state. You manifest whatever you will want, and the reality is you're here to live life, so the first thing you're going to want to manifest is a healthy life, because otherwise you're not loving anything and you're not being yourself. And so when I see people saying being yourself is bad advice, I just think, well, that's too bad you didn't go notice why it's bad advice for you. I know why. So the first 2-3 years are implicit memory, and if you don't like to be yourself and you think you need to change, yes, some people, they definitely need to update those which are their patterns, but they won't change, but they will change in the way of becoming a member of society. So when someone says narcissists don't change, they're not healable, that's not true. But they will have recurring aspects come up from their childhood. Also, when people are using words to create a one-size-fits-all, that's a label that is unnecessary. We use words to give people, or at least for me, words are used so I can go look it up. Oh, there's a couple of attributes, but it's not fixed in stone. Instead, when people are using words like narcissist or words like empath, they think that it is only all these traits and that's it. There's no box. You're a person. It doesn't matter what I box you in, you're going to have the essence of you tainted. And that's good, because that's who you are. Meaning that's your soul. That's so. Even if you don't become the full version of what you were meant to become, you will still have your own piece of Purusha Prakriti. You're your own little piece of energy that you may be cut off from it. Therefore, you won't amount to, that's the masculines. It's not men. It's people who only use a left brain. They don't connect to their higher self. They don't connect to their consistent higher self, and they don't expand to ascend to anything. I mean, yes, 16-year-old versions of themselves. That's very uninteresting. Pinocchio and Peter Pan. That's what they are to a person who knows, intellectually speaking, at a certain point. And as you get older, they just get more donkeyish. It's unbelievable. I really didn't think that I would be meeting so many ignorant human beings. It's not about what they can regurgitate. It's about what they are showing as their neuroplasticity and the dark sides make them and when I have had this type of conversation with people who actually look up to that which is a masked human being, it is because they suffer life. So they look up to those who can be basically what is an asshole teenager as a grown-up, because they think that's what it means to be yourself, which is why it's very clear who has integrity and morality. It's not someone who's divisive and talking about good or bad, evil or not evil, because that's the whole, there's not the evil, not evil. If you are understanding as a grown-up that we have good professionals, bad professionals who don't care about what they do. They care about supporting their dogma and their words. In fact, it's so clear because they will actually get all pissy in their pants and they'll start yelling, or they'll start doing something. They'll start talking down to you. So this is where when you meet grandiosity, it never looks good. When you meet a shadow part of someone, it's always going to be petty. It's always going to be cold, distant, because that's the minute the left mode took over, the right mode's shut down because there's something going on that has nothing to do with us. This is the unknown part, that where when Elsa says, into the unknown, Siren, don't keep me back. That's another shadow. Who's keeping you back? What? Oh, do you want your family, 16-year-old teenager, to tell you that you did great? Are you still looking for approval? Is this what your what are you doing? And really, this is that part of where it's an automated, the drama king, drama queen. So you can be addicted to your bad stress and to your drama, which is why this therapist is like, it's bad, disrespectful to talk about drama kings and drama queens. And I'm like, I'm not for the ones who are upholding it to a T. They're going to continue it. I see her and him. One of the most recent ones, that was fabulous, as she explains exactly why some people, they don't want to bring closure. Really? Yeah, I noticed. Is it because your sweet little revenge tooth is getting off on you being able to have a bunch of women look up to you, and men, as you continue with what are petty behaviors? Because that's exactly what it looks like when somebody is continuing to hold up their fists like this and feels like. So I don't think of Mean Girls as, you're so scary. No, as I grow older, I think, oh my God, is this serious? Are we seriously seeing this on screen right now? Did I just see? Remember women, when they fuck you, don't think it. What? what am I supposed to think? Wedding bells. No, you're trash. The bad men told me that we're all trash. And actually, in fact, there's a funny man. Oh, I love this man. He showed me a man who's speaking about things. I'm like, wow, he sounds like men and women that I know that are from the ancient times that I met when I was a teenager. I met when I was a grown up. I met when I still meet them actually. Yeah, they're not fascinating, but they really believe these words. So this guy is saying why it's okay for men to cheat and not a woman, because the man will think you let him do you. Like, oh my God. I was like, wow, there are men that think that I'm not property. Oh my God, what kind of a man are you? Oh, and I love, so the other thing about this guy is he will highlight things. Finally, we have a man who is saying, okay, man, come on, really? So he points this other thing out. And then we're going to move to another topic. He points out how there's a video he saw of some man who basically gave flowers to the girlfriend. And there's all these comments of women like, oh, thank you for helping me believe in a man again. And he's like, is this the lowest bar ever? Like, come on, man. We can do better. And I'm like, yeah, you rock, man, because I got flowers in the rain. So here's the deal about, as a woman, what I can tell you, I agree with him. Flowers is basically sure, beautiful. That's not why I'm like, oh my God. But also, I don't have this type of idea about men. I don't box them up and say, I want the bear. No, I want the man. And I want to pick the man. Can I pick the man? I'll know how to pick him because I will know what to ask. And actually, I have my adult attachment interview ready. Hey, thanks, Dr. Daniel Siegel. I'm going to make sure they're securely attached and non-traumatized. That way I know they know how to commit, because they won't be bringing their bullshit into the room and basically being a grumpy human being who I don't want to have anything to do with, because you're bringing to me that which I don't need to deal with. Unfinished business is for people to take care of, to become who you truly are. So when I'm looking out there in YouTube land, I see a bunch of different things. And this man, so as he's talking about the flower, I'm like, yeah, I remember when I had my last traditional relationship, the first month, he's giving me flowers every day. I was like, look, don't give me flowers every day. You're not going to give me flowers every day. I love that you give me but you're not going to give me flowers every day. And then he wrote poetry and a lot more. He stopped giving me flowers every day. So what makes a real man or a real woman or a real anyone, hey, Terry Real, come on over, a functional adult is when, it's not about 50-50. It's not about, you protecting me, not protecting me. This is why securely attached people, we don't attach to you and need you. We want to be with you. So there's no insecurities. And for the polyamory community, the same thing goes, monoamory again. So people who are judgmental, meaning that they're thinking they know what love is and that they are continuing to use ancient news and ancient history. It isn't ancient history, it's an outlook. So as I'm watching the other video with this guy who is saying it's different because for a man means that I will know that he has done you, and I'm like, yeah, that's just so, like, what kind of an insecure human being are you? And then I'm like, well, wait a minute. He's being taught this culturally speaking from his home. So these words come out of his mouth because that's exactly how he was talked about and talked to. And then there's movies that continue to support this. And I'm like, well, there's women I know that actually point out the very same thing. So there's another part where he's talking about how, a woman, in order to keep the attention of the man, needs to always stay all nice and dressed up and beautiful. And I was remembering a girlfriend and more of mine spoke these very words, and I'm like, yeah, sure, okay, great. So when people are superficial and not living life profoundly, that's because there's a bunch of people who don't own their child parts. So when you don't own all of who you are and you're still performing, it's a circus act because you're still under pressure. That's called an adaptive child part person who's afraid of rejection. That's why they're not building a true connection. They're just building that which is something comfortable, and you'll know it because they don't allow themselves to be seen or soothed or safe or secure, and they won't allow you to be seen in all of who you are because they will come in with those shadow parts, and those are basically the biologically rude characterological distinctions, judgments. They know better, the talking down to you, bunch of things. It's men and women, by the way, people who grow up. They have attachment wounds, and that's why an innocent inner child won't be like, oh, I'm so offended because I'm a grown-up. So when you come with your brokenness, not you, but anybody, I'm not going to take it personally. It's your shit, not mine. I'll make flowers with it. I'll make an episode from it. And then I'll think, oh, that's so sad. They don't even know who they are yet. Oh, let me keep moving forward. My facade friends showed me what hypocrites do. Nothing. They just do the same cowards game, because that's how disappointed it is when you have people who don't welcome all of you because they think that they know everything. No, because they have a physiological state that puts them in the grandiose, contemptuous. And then they shut down and they think that they're badass. No, they just act like they're badass. They're not really badass because there's no brain involved. There's a bad behavior that is coming forth from a 0-8-year-old that could be healed with a Patrick Tiahan instead of brought into a room where I don't need to deal with you that way. And it's not fun and it's not interesting, and I actually don't want to get into that at all, because that's the part of where you do it with a therapist. You don't do it with the people. You heal your shadow stuff. That's where the integration happens, because a person wants to stop having dysregulated nervous system, bad manners, and they want to get out of their dysfunctional patterns. So like when my friends are like, oh, we're going to stay alcoholics, Maria. Okay, well, I mean, I love you. I can't make you change your mind. I will not be being that pain in the ass person who's going to nag at you either, because God gave you free will, and science is going to be continuing to help people to, I'm sure, get better. Maybe laws will become, I don't know, stringent. I mean, I really don't, personally, this is the part of where I care about humanity for sure. But what I learned as I was growing up, I'm not laughing because it's funny. I learned that some people suffer life so much that they will write you a message as if they're about to kill themselves. Then they will write you later on and not even bother telling you, I'm so better from that moment. And you realize at that point, okay, we've got a problem. Today I know of it as fantasy stages, which makes it even more unimpressive. So basically you're just part of something that a person is living in their brain, and then they're consistently, as a coward, hiding behind everything and anything, and then they're going to continue to become a donkey, which is why, again, they can't really do anything. You can't be a warrior if you're not luminous, because you're going to be not growing healthier by the minute. You're going to be growing unhealthier by the minute. Your body is everything. So when people don't care about themselves, it shows they won't care about anybody else, because if you don't want to be yourself, again, you won't welcome those who want to be themselves. And the innocence of every child was never meant to be taken from them. But attachment wounds do happen. So when people are going to manifest for real, it's going to be from a place of heart. When they manifest for pretend, they're still going to do it from a place of a broken heart, but it still will be a heart. And in the meantime, we will continue living Dharma. That's because our choice points are, when I encounter anyone, I get to choose if I'm going to be myself or if I'm going to not be myself. But no, we're always going to be ourselves, because at the end of the day, why wouldn't you be yourself? So nobody's afraid of being rejected when you are yourself. That's the point. And that's healthy fear, healthy sadness, healthy anger, healthy surprise, disgust, happiness. And then for those of our brothers and sisters who don't want it, they're not dangerous, because we know how to differentiate. So differentiation of the self is when you know how to be in a room with anyone and you recalibrate your nervous system to the ventral vagal state. And those who won't like it won't be around you, because you don't actually shame, blame, fault, revenge. You don't play a game, and you don't actually get mean because you don't want to, because that's not nice. For me, it began with lovely promise to Jesus, and then it also is where I'm like with all these kids, and they're all just pretending to be mean. I'm like, I don't want to be mean. Why would I be mean? You're all just afraid. We're all insecure teenagers. What the hell is wrong with y'all? You know what? I'm going to choose my herd. And I did. So we're going to have some more stories. In the meantime, thanks for stopping by. Have a good one.